Hello and welcome to John Allen Outside. My name is John, and in this video we're going to explore how you can use artificial intelligence, or AI for short, to help you with your next backpacking trip. We'll be specifically looking at the AI tool called ChatGPT, since it's free and accessible. Right now you're thinking, whoa, hold on there, buddy. AI for backpacking sounds a bit far-fetched. While I'll agree that the hype around AI is almost to the point of being ridiculous, I think you'll find that there are some very legitimate ways that it can help you both before and during your backpacking adventures. Before we begin, I want to briefly explain what ChatGPT is and how to get started. ChatGPT is a free AI tool that you can access using your mobile device or a desktop computer. The way to use ChatGPT is to simply type in a question or type in a command for it to do something. These questions/commands are called a prompt, and you'll hear me using the term prompt throughout this video. You can download the ChatGPT app on your mobile device or go to chatgpt.com. From there, simply write your prompt using plain language and wait a few seconds for the response. ChatGPT understands conversational language, so there is no need for any technical knowledge or skill. If you're a bit uncertain at this point, don't worry. By the end of this video, it should all make sense. One note of caution is that ChatGPT is not perfect, and it's always a good idea to validate whatever it tells you. With that behind us, let's get started. One thing that can take up a lot of time when preparing for a long trip is putting together your resupply plan. I've spent countless hours in the past scouring websites and Facebook groups looking for advice. Let's look at how ChatGPT can help save time with this task. I'm familiar with the most common resupply points in the Pacific Crest Trail desert section, so let's see what ChatGPT comes up with. Here's the prompt I gave it. Create a resupply plan for someone backpacking the Pacific Crest Trail northbound from the border of Mexico to Kennedy Meadows south. Assume resupplying at least once every 100 miles. I'm at my computer now, and we're going to see what this comes up with. Resupply point number 1, Lake Morena. It talks about details here. Lake Morena has a small store and a campground. A good place for a quick stop, pick any last minute essentials. Yeah, that's true. It doesn't have a huge store, but you can get a couple of things there. Number 2, Mount Laguna, small store, post office. Exactly right. Next, going into Julian, charming town. True, totally true. You need to arrange for transportation. Yep, you do have to hitch there as well. Warner Springs. It talks about even a hiker box, so ChatGPT knows where the hiker boxes are. That's funny. Idlewild, popular town, absolutely true. So overall, going through here, this is really, really good. And then looking at this bottom part, tips for planning, it's talking about pre-resupply boxes, talking about trail conditions, maybe requiring detours, food preferences, weather. So I think this is really, really good. If you look at the things that are on this resupply plan, this does a great job of talking about the major places where people resupply. This works for other trails as well. I'm planning to do the Superior Hiking Trail this fall, and I've already created my resupply plan, so I'm familiar with all the best towns to stock up. I asked ChatGPT for a plan, and it gave me a great response, just like the one we just did for the PCT. This is going to be a huge time saver for me when planning future hikes. Another big part of the trip planning process is figuring out your gear list. This is especially challenging for newer hikers who are worried that they might be leaving something out. Let's ask ChatGPT about my sleep system, but we'll intentionally leave out a pillow to see if it can figure it out. Here's the prompt. My backpacking sleep system consists of a Thermarest Neo Air sleeping pad, a silk liner, and a 20-degree quilt from Enlightened Equipment. Am I forgetting anything? All right, back to the computer. Let's see what it says. First up, it says sleeping bag liner. I don't think it understands that a silk liner is a sleeping bag liner, but you know, that's fine. Number 2, sleeping pad repair kit. That's a really good idea. I've had punctures in my pad and I've had to repair them on trail. That's something you could easily forget. Compression sack to keep things organized and compact. Sure, I do keep my stuff in that, but I didn't say that specifically. Ground sheet, if you're going to need to protect your sleeping pad, that makes a lot of sense. I use that 1/8-inch foam pad. Extra layers if it gets cold. And the next thing, there's the pillow. It realized that I forgot the pillow. And it even acknowledges that some people might like to use a bag stuffed with their clothes or a jacket or something. A sleeping pad pump, a lot of people are moving to those now. They have really lightweight ones that are fairly inexpensive. And then safety items. So I think this is a great response. It included the thing that was missed and then some other things I didn't even think of. You can use this to evaluate your entire gear list if you'd like. However, don't let ChatGPT overfill your pack. One thing all backpackers must do is buy a pack. Picking out a new backpack can involve a lot of research, and it can be confusing to sort through all of the options. Let's ask ChatGPT to help with this. Here's a prompt. I'm looking for a lightweight backpack for hikes lasting weeks or months. What pack should I consider? Let's take a look at what the recommendations are. We've got the Hyperlight Mountain Gear 3400, Osprey Exos 48, Granite Gear Crown 2, a 60-liter pack. Then we get into the Gossamer Gear Kumo, the Z-Packs Arc Haul, and the Slingfin Portal 50. So I'm familiar with some of the packs on this list, but not all of them. I do think the ones I'm familiar with are pretty good packs, so I think it's a pretty good place to start. Very interesting thing happened though. When I was prepping to do this video last week, I asked this exact same question, worded the exact same way, and came up with a different list of packs. I know this because my pack, which is the Gossamer Gear Mariposa 60, and my son's pack, which is the ULA Circuit, they were both on the list. They're not on there right now. So I just thought that was interesting. It's almost like you're asking a person. You might get a different answer on a different day. Sometimes when we're out on the trail, we run into issues where we could use some advice. For example, this spring on the PCT, there was a lot of poison oak, much more than the last time I was out there. There were a few times it was completely unavoidable and I ended up lightly brushing up against it. I knew I had to clean my skin, but I wasn't exactly sure how. Let's see what ChatGPT would have told me to do. The prompt is, if I lightly brush against poison oak in the wilderness without access to soap, what is the best approach to avoiding a rash? This is helpful advice. I did in fact use hand sanitizer because I know that it's made with alcohol, which is a solvent, and I was hoping that solvent would break down the urushiol, and that's the nasty resin in poison oak that gives you the rash. It worked because I didn't get any rash. So keep in mind, you do need cellular service to use ChatGPT from your mobile device, so this won't be an option everywhere. However, every year cellular service is getting better and better, and eventually we'll get to a point where we can access the internet from anywhere using a satellite network such as Starlink. Back to trip planning and preparation, it's a good idea to hit the trail in decent physical shape to make the hike more enjoyable and reduce the risk of injury. But what is the best way to get ready? Maybe ChatGPT can help. Here's a prompt to you. Create a training plan to prepare me for a thru hike of the Superior Hiking Trail. Jumping over to my PC, let's see what this is going to tell us. Wow, this is recommending a 12-week training program, which I think is quite excessive for a hike that's going to last maybe 3 to 4 weeks. However, there are a couple things I do like about this plan. First of all, it breaks it down into cardio, strength training, and flexibility, which I think are 3 very important elements of any training program. Second of all, it's quite specific. It tells you exactly what you need to do and how many times per week, so that's helpful. In my opinion, I think we should use something shorter. So why don't we try a prompt again that says, hey, can you tell me something that would only last about a month? Because I train for every single hike I go on, and I think maybe 30 days to 45 days is plenty of time. If you are coming straight from the couch and have never hiked before, maybe this plan might be better for you, but if you have some level of fitness, probably less. So let's try again. I'll just say reduce this to a 4-week training program. This looks like it makes a lot more sense. It's something we can do in several weeks rather than over the course of 3 months, and I think it looks fine. So sometimes with ChatGPT, you just need to go in there and refine your prompt a little bit to get what you need. I do like the additional tips quite a bit. Footwear, you do need to make sure your shoes are broken in. Don't be wearing them for the very first time when you go on your hike. Nutrition, practice eating what you're going to eat on your hike while you're doing your practice hikes. You never know when your body's going to not agree with something. And then that mental preparation, really be thinking about your hike and visualizing yourself being successful with it. And then your gear. I usually hike with all my gear, and then I'll set it up once or twice before I leave on my hike. So these additional tips are fantastic. A lot of hikers send resupply packages to local post offices that are near the trail. When sending a resupply package to a post office, you might be wondering how to properly address it so it's waiting for you when you get there. ChatGPT knows how. The prompt I used was, I'm a backpacker that needs to mail myself a resupply package to a post office. How can I address the package so the post office will hold it for me? This is a great response and it tells you exactly what to do. A common issue for long distance backpackers is to get the blues after being on trail for a while. Let's create a prompt to tell ChatGPT that I'm feeling homesick and lonely and ask for advice. Here's the prompt. I'm on a month-long backpacking trip and I'm feeling homesick and lonely. Can you help me improve my outlook so I stay on trail and don't come home early? Let's check out this response. Look at the first sentence here. I'm sorry you're feeling homesick and lonely. It's completely normal to experience those emotions on a long trip like this. Oh, that's very nice. First thing it says is focus on small goals. Break the trip down into smaller sections. That one really hits home for me because one thing I end up doing mentally, which I think is a flaw, is I try to hike the whole trip in one day. You know, I'm thinking about the next month and all the things I have to do. Just focus on one day at a time. Number two, stay connected. Yeah, friends and family can really help out. Nothing like a call to the wife, or I call my kids or my mom or dad, and it's just so nice and it gives you such a boost. Then three, remind yourself why you started. I actually write down my why for a trail and I keep it on a note in my pack, and if I need to, I open that up and look at it. So I think that can be really important. I'm not going to read through all of these for you. You can run this prompt through yourself if you'd like. But looking at the very last sentence, you prepared for this, and every day you stay on trail is a testament to your resilience. Man, that's good stuff. I mean, that's like psychologist type things here. I really think this is valuable, and it's something that could help me a lot. I'm not saying ChatGPT is going to save your hike, but advice like this is solid and can only help. One of the biggest debates among hikers is trail runners versus hiking boots. Clearly, most long distance hikers wear trail runners, but what does ChatGPT have to say about this controversial topic? The prompt I used was, in your opinion, should a long distance backpacker wear trail runners or hiking boots? Not totally surprising, ChatGPT says that for long distance backpacking, trail runners are generally preferred over hiking boots, and it goes on to explain some of the reasons why. However, it does throw boot wearers a bone and explains that there are some reasons that you may want to wear those as well, which is nice. And ultimately it says you got to figure out what you want. It comes down to personal preference. What I found interesting is that it remembered that I was thinking about hiking the Superior Hiking Trail and that I talked about the PCT and said trail runners would be the better option for me given the benefits for longer distances. Very interesting that it remembers prior conversations and includes that in the recommendation. When hiking close to home, we're all familiar with the weather and know what to expect. However, a hiker can get into trouble if they are hiking in a different part of the country or even a different country altogether and are not prepared for the weather. Let's create a prompt and see what ChatGPT tells us about the weather in the first part of the PCT desert section. I'll be starting the Pacific Crest Trail on March 29th, heading north from the border of Mexico. What are the average high and low temperatures I can expect for my first 30 days on trail? The response here is a great example of where you need to be careful with ChatGPT. I've been through this section of the PCT twice, starting on March 29th both times. The response is fairly accurate for the first time I did this section, although I would argue it was a lot hotter than what is being suggested as typical. At no time did it get colder than mid-40s at night, no matter where we were camped. The second time, it was a lot colder than what is being suggested. At the beginning of my hike, the high was only 40 degrees right near the border, which is 20 degrees lower than the low end of what is indicated by normal. Almost every night was below freezing, regardless of elevation. The general considerations at the end of ChatGPT's answer essentially tell you to be prepared for anything, and I would agree. Although every place has an average temperature, the actual temperature for when you get there, that can vary quite a bit. Let's adjust the wording of this prompt and see if we can get more useful information. So what I did is I essentially kept the prompt the same, except for I said, what are the highest high and lowest low temperatures for this area? This does help make the point that I could see anywhere from 90 degrees during the day to 20 degrees at night. The bottom line is be prepared for any weather and use caution when reviewing ChatGPT responses. When you spend a lot of time on the trail, you can get tired of the same old food day after day. For me personally, it feels like lunch is one area where I seem to eat the same thing every day. Let's ask ChatGPT for some advice. The prompt I'm going to use is, I'm looking for a high-calorie, high-protein backpacking lunch. Any ideas? One thing I like is how it mentions foil packets of chicken and tuna rather than a tin can. It makes me feel like it understands how backpackers like to buy their food. The same prompt will also work for breakfast, dinner, and even snacks. Give it a try next time you have trouble figuring out what you want to eat on trail and see what it comes up with. Any long-distance hiker knows that trail angels can really help make your journey amazing. A lot of them have logbooks for all of the hikers to sign, but I'm one of those people that feels a bit awkward trying to figure out something nice to write. I know I want to say something nice because I'm very thankful, but struggle to come up with the right words. ChatGPT to the rescue. The prompt we'll use is, a trail angel let me stay at her house while I was on a backpacking trip. She has a logbook for backpackers to sign. What is something nice I can write in a logbook? Thank you so much for your incredible generosity and kindness. Staying here was a highlight of my journey, and it's trail angels like you who make the trail experience so special. Your warm hospitality and the comfort of your home have recharged my spirit for the miles ahead. I'll carry your kindness with me all the way to wherever you're headed. Wishing you all the best, and may you continue to inspire and uplift everyone who crosses your path. Happy trails. Wow, I'm about to cry reading this. This is absolutely amazing. Now the funny thing would be if everyone started using ChatGPT for this and message really similar to this one started showing up in all the Trail Angel logbooks. We'll have to see what happens there. When I'm making a video for all of you, I really enjoy writing the outline for the script, filming, and especially editing. The part I don't like is creating the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the picture you see on YouTube that attempts to lure you into clicking on it. Just to give you an idea of the power of ChatGPT, I asked it to create the thumbnail for this video, and I'm going to use whatever it comes up with. Here's the prompt. I'm making a YouTube video on how to use ChatGPT to help with backpacking. Please create a thumbnail for this video and include male and female backpackers, trees, a lake or stream, a trail, and if possible, a mountain in the background. Do not include any words. It's going to take a second for ChatGPT to render the image, but let's see what it comes up with. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. That's better than anything I would have come up with. I like how they have all the elements I asked for. There's a stream, there's male and female backpackers, trees, a mountain. Really, really good job. I'm going to add some words to it, and if you're watching this video, that means that this worked and you clicked on it, and ChatGPT got you to watch one of my videos. That was a lot of fun, and I feel like there is quite a bit more we could explore. However, this video is starting to get long, so let's recap. ChatGPT is a free tool that you can use to help plan your backpacking trip, and if you have cellular service, get assistance while you're on the trail. Writing a prompt is easy, although sometimes you might need to refine your wording a bit to get the answer you're seeking. Remember that ChatGPT isn't perfect, and I suggest fact-checking it for anything important. Use your creativity and have some fun with it. Also, if you find any great prompts that I didn't mention, please drop me a note in the comments. If there are enough of them, I'll make a follow-up video and I'll mention you to give you credit for the suggestion. As always, if you found any value in this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks, and we'll see you out on the trail.